So we got Group 2. Yesterday we talked about Group 1. What's nice is that there's going to be really just 3 groups over at YieldMax. Group 1 will be your former weeklies. They're still weekly, but it's just titled Group 1 now. And then Group 2 are your former monthlies, or 4 weekly payers. They're all lumped into one group now, which is Group 2. That's the video today we're talking about. If you enjoy the content, my name is Mike. The channel's name is Health and Wealth. I hope you join me by hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. Let's talk about all of the distribution announcements today. And there were a lot of them. So buckle up. I'm going to try and go as quickly as possible, but also coherently, so that you understand what was announced. And we're going to try and make sense of some of them, because some of them were astronomically high. Some were quite low. Let's go over that together. I'm going to end up doing this in 3 different takes. So if you see the pause in between, it's just a lot of ETFs over at YieldMax that they announced for distribution. Let's talk about the payment dates. So today is Wednesday, October 15th all day. Tomorrow is the X distribution date for group number 2. So Wednesdays will be announcement day. Thursdays will be the X date, which means that you should see the price of these drop by the announced amount. Unless the market takes off or even dives, that's what's going to happen to them. But also then we're going to get paid on Fridays from group 2, which is pretty cool. So far we now have 2 payments, Thursday and Friday. And then there's the other ones out there that are not switching over, but we're not talking about those today. We're talking about group number 2. Now, those dates can change depending on if there's holidays or anything like that. I think, you guys in the U.S. just had Columbus Day, but it wasn't a real holiday, so the stock market wasn't shut down. Air quotes, okay? Don't get offended. I'm saying in the terms of the stock market still being open. But, coming up here, you're going to have Thanksgiving. You're going to have Christmas, Boxing Days. Those could change the payment dates, just so we're on the same page. All right, cool. So the very first one, here's the announcement, by the way, that I found on the old Twitter machine. Very first one is ABNY. We're going to go through all of these. I've basically gone all the way to CBNY and then the tabs at the top. I can't do any more tabs, can I? Too many tabs, but we're going to talk about them. So here's ABNY. What's nice about all of these is now they're alphabetical. Share price of ABNY is $9.83 over the last month here, down 7 cents. Nothing too strange or bad there. Pulled up ABNY on YieldMax's website. You can see their AUM, 35 million in there. Their NAV, there's right around what we just talked about. And then let's take a look at the distributions here. So this announcement was 22 cents, going to be paid out coming up here, 22 cents on ABNY. There it is right there as well. So we can kind of take a look here. Those are all of the distributions. It's a relatively new fund. Well, I guess it's over a year old, right? It's a year and 2 months old here. But it's going to be one of its lowest distributions, just so we're all on the same page. Generally, this share price has a lot to do with lower distributions. As that share price goes down, so do the distributions. So you want to pick ETFs that are winning companies. Airbnb, real tough business right now with, different cities and towns, banning Airbnb. So Airbnb itself is a difficult product because, they have to go through so many loopholes. But then writing calls on that obviously is a little more tricky as well. So that's your ABNY. Next, we have AIYY, an AI play paying out 9 cents. That's it, just 9 cents. Now, the share price has a lot to do with this. It's very surprising to see this share price this low, considering AI is taking off right now. But if we look at this over the last month, it's just hanging out, doing nothing, which is fine. It's there it is. It's at 0 cents over the last month. Now, coming up in the next coming weeks, we're going to bring this down to 5 days because these are now paying out every single week. AIYY has $80 million in its assets under management. That's your money in this fund here. So it's a lot, right? That's a lot. I think people are trying to maybe they're taking a gamble because it's such an affordable ETF, but 9 cents here, you can see every week here, it's kind of going lower and lower every month, sorry. And now we're going to go to weekly, but this thing's been paying since January of 2024. So it's coming up on 2 years old. If we take a look at the share price in the last year, it's really, really dipped here by 71%. The bleeding is not stopping on this one. I mean, if we go 6 months, let's take a look from April 4th. What am I doing? April 4th. Wow. Okay. So right around here, right? It's down 38% even from that massive dip. But, July 23rd seemed to be kind of a high here. And then since, July, it's down 41%, which is not good. Not good at all. Next, we have AMDY. This one I'm very curious about, seeing as AMD had a really, like, its underlying stock had a really, really great last couple of weeks there. It had some highs, had some lows, but it's created some volatility. And volatility is what pays us money here. So AMDY paying out 95 cents this week. And just so we're on the same page, some of these, I'm going to take a pause here. Some of these were in group A, B, C, and D. This would have been the group C week. So you're going to notice with anything that was in group C, they're going to pay a lot more than something in group B, as an example, because it paid out last week. So group B is going to pay a lot less because it only has 1 week of, income coming in. And then group D is going to pay out a bunch compared to, group B, and then group A is going to pay a little bit there as well, more than group B. Make sense? All right, we're continuing on here. So AMDY, $10.48 here. And, over the last month here, up 34%. So that's what I'm talking about, right? AMD, its underlying, had an amazing at least couple of weeks, and I'm just doing that off memory. I haven't really looked at it too deeply. I just know that AMD is getting a lot of hype out there on the internet right now, but that's an incredible climb, up $2.68. $210 million in this fund. That's quite a bit of money, and that distribution is far, far greater than the month before at 95 cents, so you got to be happy with that. You have to be happy with the performance of the ETF here as well. Pretty good. Next, we have AMZY. Funny enough, AMZY is following Amazon, and I don't know if you guys noticed. If you ever go look at Amazon on like a chart, it's basically one of the most flat companies going in terms of the the Mag 7 or the those top boys out there, right? It's not been super profitable in terms of a stock, right? So 25 cents is the distribution here on the AMZY. Let's take a look at it over here. Just kind of steadily going down a little bit here. Was hovering around $16 for quite a while, but then it's just been dropping. But Amazon's had a bit of a rough go in terms of its share price. Now, distributions on AMZY, AMZY, ZY, is not going to be as big as other ones because it's more of a flat stock right now, so its implied volatility is quite a bit lower than some of those less flat stocks out there. But there's your AUM, 293,032,000 in there, and then there's all of its distributions. You can see it's starting to shrink here as the share price comes down and down and down. Next, we have Appley. I just read if you had your money in Appley, that or an Apple, sorry, for the last 5 years, you would be at 95% return, or you are almost doubling your original investment. And I don't know if you guys have been around long enough, but Apple was the very first thing I bought 5 years ago. Now 5 years and 3 months ago on the stock market. I put combined with my dad $20,000 into it. I asked him to buy me out, so I got my 10,000 plus a few extra bucks in there, and I went off on my own investing. But he still has it, and so he's been pretty happy with his performance, obviously, right? And he's a bit older and not into risky plays, and so that's why he has his Apple and likes it. And he has his other, railroads and different things like that. So Appley itself paying out 17 cents here. Let's take a look at the share price, $13.50 over the last month, up 1.43%. And I mean, if we look at the last 6 months, it's just hanging out, not doing too much here, but it has paid a good distribution, not great, a good distribution every single month. Now, weekly, There's its AUM, $150 million in there of your money. And then there's the distributions right there. So you can see Appley is in Group B, I believe, formerly Group B, which means that it is going to be lower than some of these other ones out here because it only has, a week worth of data to pay out, that sort of thing. So, yeah, you can see 18 cents, and then, it's hovering around that 36-cent range every other month. Before that, give or take 10 cents one way or the other on that. So Appley, there you go. Next, we have Babau paying out 13 cents. Babau share price over the last 1 month here, dipping 7%. It had a good climb, didn't it? Yeah, there it is right there when Alibaba had a really good climb. This thing has been out for a year and 2 months now, and down 21.99% share price. But what are you getting? You're getting a distribution. Not a ton of money in this compared to other funds, 66 million here. And then there are the distributions. So there's that huge climb that they had, $1.89 in distribution last month, and now 14 cents this week. I don't necessarily remember where Babau was in terms of what group it was in, but I mean, 14 cents usually, if it's that low and, this is what they're normally paying right here, probably indicates that it was around Group B. That's why it's paying a little bit lower than some of the other ones out there. Next, we have BRKC paying out 28 cents here. BRKC is a relatively new fund over at YieldMax, up 0.44%. Berkshire Hathaway is the underlying. So if we go all the way back to June the 6th, be with you, down 5.41%, but it is paying out a good distribution. Not great. Again, it's pretty low volatile. 35 million in that fund, and then it's paid out now 5 times. So again, we're going weekly, everybody. So what you should notice is that the numbers you're used to should be cut in quarters, right? Into a quarter. So if you're used to getting paid $1, it should be 25 cents from now on. We know that these change every single time they get distributed, depending on the volume and the calls and the synthetics that they do over at YieldMax. But this week over here at the new fund, BRKC is paying 29 cents. Yeah, there we go. Let's continue on. Coney, this is one that I'm very interested in. I have 295 shares of it, paying out 34 cents. Now, I know Coney is in Group C, so this one should be a little bit higher than usual, which means, if we knock that down, divided by 4, yeah, I mean, let's go find out what it paid last month. But before we do that, here's the share price, $6.80. This thing is bumping up and down like a yo-yo over the last month here. But yeah, down 6% in that 1 month. But yeah, going up and down, hanging around that $7 mark. Got over $7 a couple times there, but can't maintain that $7 mark. So you can see it keeps dropping in share price. For me, what I'm doing with this fund is I'm just taking the cash and investing in other things. That other thing at the moment is Alti until I finish that, and then I'll go buy something else with the cash that I get from Coney here. But it's a huge fund at YieldMax, $1.2 billion of your money in this fund. You right there, your money. And there's this distributions, right? So 45 cents last month, 34. So it kind of is in line with all of those. So remember, this was going to pay out this week anyway. So that's kind of in line with all of the last 3 months now. Pretty much the same. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we go weekly. You go 35 divided by 4. What's that? Like 8? Around that, 8.5 cents a week on this now. I don't know. Is that good? Is that bad? For somebody that bought in really high, it's really bad, right? But if you bought in low, then, I mean, it's not too bad, I suppose. Next one, we have CRCO. This is the new fund, the Circle Fund. I haven't looked at this for 1 second today. Right there, you just saw me look at it for 1 second. So the last month here, up 4.73%. I think this thing just came out. Yeah, September the 30th. So it's not even half a month old here. And it's just kind of maintaining its share price. Circle's going to be paying its first distribution, $2.47 million into it. And there's its first distribution, $2.48. So you got to be happy with that. I know with me, I bought into HOOY as an example at $69, and I've gotten 4 or 5. Is gotten a word? I've received 4 or 5 distributions so far, so I'm happy with that one. But anyways, there's your circle, $2.48. Next, we have an inverse fund crash. This one is going to be, the fighter of Tesla. So if Tesla goes up, this should go down. If Tesla goes down, this should go up. And your premium should kind of match the way Tesla, which is the underlying, goes, right? Crash share price $3.05. Running a covered call strategy on Tesla is very difficult because Tesla spikes up and down. It blows your calls, it blows your puts out of the water. You're going to have to close those, and that costs money to do it. That's why I'm no longer in Tesla. That's why TSLY had a reverse split. It's just too unpredictable. It's too lightning fast one way or the other. And I mean, if Tesla's having a long downslope, this should be going up. It's not, because whenever it has a downslope, it flies downwards. Whenever it has an upslope, it flies upward. It's just too difficult to manage, and that's part of the reason why I'm not in this fund. The other part of the reason is I think Tesla's going to be huge. I mean, it already is huge. I think it's going to be huger down the road, right? So I can't bet against it. So there you go. There's the share price in the last 6 months over the last year, down 77%. Here is crash on YieldMax's website. How much money? 24 million. So there's not a lot of cash in this fund here. I have a feeling other people probably feel the same way I do about Tesla, but 9 cents per distribution. I mean, if we take a look at 9 cents divided by that 305, it's pretty good, especially if it's going to be every week. Let's call it 10 cents on a $3.05 ETF. Let's say they could somehow get a giant cork and plug it in here and stop the bleeding, then it would be great. But they can't, and they're not. And it continues to do what it's doing, which is not good. We have one more on the alphabetical order here on my screen. And I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to drink some water, and I'm going to come right back, and I'm going to start the next one. So what do we have here? Next one is CBNY. Oh, $1.33. Huge. That's pretty good, right? CBNY has been doing okay over the last month here, down 7% though. But since it's come out, it's down 24%. What is really good about this, it already has 68 million in it. It's relatively new fund. It's been out since March, and it's paying out massive distributions every single 4-week period for you. So we'll see what happens with this whenever it goes to weekly, right? $1.33 though. Remember, guys, that today's the announcement day, tomorrow's the X date, and then Friday is pay date for all of these new weekly funds. How do you feel about it so far? Let me know in the comments. Let's continue on with the next group. Here we go. All right, I'm hydrated. Let's keep going. Holy smokes, this is a massive list, everybody. Next up, we have Dips, paying out 5 cents. Dips is an inverse on NVDY, $5.86. It went down $3.70 or 3.78%. NVIDIA had a great last month here, so that's why, since it's come out, down 71%. Dips itself here has, let's take a look, $9 million in it, baby little fund over here. And 6 cents is pretty low compared to the rest, but now we're moving into weeklies. So we'll see how it does here, but it's been out since September of a year ago. Next, we have Disso, a little Disney action in here, paying out 17 cents. Disso share price in the last month down 3%. Market's been pretty terrible, right? It's been good, but it's been mostly bad in the last month. Down 3% since it's come out, down up 4,000%, right? It's down quite a bit, actually. This one came out probably around $20, so it's down about $8 in share price, but it has paid you a distribution every single month until now, which is going to be weekly, but $38 million right above my head here. You can see that. And then there's your distribution, pretty in line with the last bunch of months here as well, 17 cents on that. Next, we have Dre. Where's Dre? Here it is. DraftKings, $1.53. This is a big distribution for Dre. Share price $38. This thing came out, not too long ago, but down 23%. And the last month had a lot to do with that, down 20% in share price. Dre, let's take a look at the money in it here. $28 million. This is the prime betting season. So do you think DraftKings will do well during the NFL season? We got the NHL starting. Of course, go Leafs go. We've got basketball coming on here shortly. Everyone, including the players, love to bet on basketball and the referees too. So will Dre underlying DraftKings take off? Who knows? I mean, you never know, but so much competition out there. There's $1.54, pretty in line with last month, though. This is its third payment. Next, we have Phoebe paying 9 cents, which is very interesting. That means that Phoebe was probably in Group B. Just take it as a probably. But pretty low payment there. But Phoebe is a Facebook or Meta play here in the last month. Meta's YieldMax version down 7% share price. Let's take a look at Phoebe here. $174 million in this fund. This is YieldMax's website, by the way. You can look at the same information I am. There's this 10-cent distribution. Yeah, I guess that's kind of in line, right? If it's a weekly, that's kind of in line. If we maximize that times 4 weeks, you're looking at 40 cents, which is kind of in line with these right here. But with the share price coming down this month by 7%, that definitely lines up when you have a falling share price and your distributions won't be as high either. All right, next we have Fiat. I had somebody in my comments trying to be rude. I don't know if they were trying, but it worked. They were like, "I told you, Fiat." 11-cent distribution here on Fiat. What was I told? And here's the share price: $2.66, down 13% in the last month here. Guys, I don't want to give you any stock advice, and you don't need to be rude and tell me what to buy with my money, right? I'm not telling you what to buy. It's just that one guy in the comments. I'm pretty sure he was a bot. But here we are. The last 6 months, not good. Since it's come out, not good at all. And this is going to be your Coinbase short, right? Shorting successful stocks is a really difficult game to play. I'm not interested in it. I believe in Coinbase. I use Coinbase, and for that reason, I'm not going to short Coinbase. But it's Coinbase has been up and down as well. So let's take a look at Fiat here. How much money is in there? 41 million. There's its distribution. So it's paid out a decent distribution since August of last year until now. Next one is surprising, GDXY. What I was surprised at was the AUM on this one. This is the gold play. I love gold, 11 cents here. And share price $17.44 over the last month. Gold hit all-time highs, didn't it? $4,000, something like that an ounce. So it had a really good month here. Let's take a look at GDXY. $200 million. It's a growing fund for sure. People seem to enjoy it. There's its distributions. Was a buck even last month. Here's 11 cents. So that's interesting that it's only 11 cents this time around, but gathering that it's probably Group B, that's probably the reason why. I could be proven wrong here, everybody, but that's just my thoughts as I'm doing this kind of live here in the sense that I'm just kind of hitting each one and talking about them a little bit. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, holy smokes, I'm talking a lot right now, so if you guys can hit the like for me, that would be really, really helpful. Next, we have a GameStop play. I didn't even know YieldMax had this GME, but $2.23. GameStop. Oh my goodness, look at the share price. It just came out to September 9th. Down 85 cents, which is shocking. You would think it would be down to like, a buck here. I'm being facetious, but yeah, it's just a baby fund. $1.23 million in this play right now. And then this is going to be its first distribution. It's not even on the list here. Oh, there it is right there. $2.24. So it's got a lot to pay out, but yeah, super volatile. That's what we were looking for. That's what the YieldMax team's looking for, is the most volatile stock. So implied volatility, of course, that's the words that we want to use. But for me, I did invest in GameStop, and I wouldn't call it invest. I did gamble in GameStop for a little bit. But I got out of there. I wasn't interested in that gamble anymore. Next, we have Guey. Gooey, Google Play 16 cents here. Share price over the last month down 5% on Gooey. Over its inception down 33%, but it is paying out a good distribution. Not great, but good every single month. There's $166 million in this fund, and there are the distributions for your viewing pleasure. 16 cents this week. So what's that work out to? Like 64 cents a month, something like that. So that's pretty much in line with the last 2 months there as well. No real changes on that one. Next we have HIYY paying out $2.06. Sorry, $2.06. This is that Hims and Hers play. Share price just hanging around, up $1.61 in the last month here. Good job, 3.3%. And probably not a lot of money in this fund. No, just 1.18 million. It's a brand new fund over here at YieldMax. There's its only payment so far. Again, today is the announcement. Tomorrow is the X date. Friday is payday for this. So if you're one of those $1.18 million worth of people in there, you're going to get a nice distribution of $2.06. Next one is HOOY. Very exciting here on HOOY. Now remember, I've been talking about Group C. HOOY is definitely in Group C. There's a massive payment. It's the second biggest payment in YieldMax history, next to PLTY, which I think paid more than this. I don't know, was it like $7, something like that? But this is the biggest payment in HOOY's life, $5.94. I'm excited. I have, just 16 shares, so it's going to pay me right around $95-ish. Or is it $195? I don't care. It's going to pay me money. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my Alti margin, but $5.94. That's pretty awesome. HOOY's share price also awesome here. Over the last month, up $5 in share price. Since it has come out, up 35% share price. So this follows Robinhood, of course, and just cooking, right? Doing awesome. My average price is $69. So what I'll notice here is that when this payment comes out, that this will dip below that 69 most likely. And it did the same thing last month. It did the same thing the month before. And both months it recovered. And that is what I want in my investments. I want to get paid. I want recovery of share price. HOOY's kicking butt right now. So is Robinhood, though. So you got to invest in the winning underlying companies to maximize your income with the YieldMax, right? So if you're investing in companies that are on downswings, so will your share price on your YieldMax fund, right? So will your distribution. So HOOY doing really, really well here. And I'm pretty pumped about this one. Again, what I'm doing with my money is I'm just paying off margin on my Alti purchase. And then, so that should be paid off this week, which is massive. I was expecting it to be paid off in a couple of weeks from now. So that just kind of pays down that margin to zero and lets me recycle the strategy back again. More talk about that tomorrow on the Alti video. Here we go. JPMO had some huge earnings today, didn't they? Right? They beat their estimated revenue by like $2 billion. 5 cents on JPMO. JPMO has always been super boring. But there you go, down 20 cents or 1.18%. JPMO here on YieldMax's website. $64 million in the fund, and there's the distribution. So quite a bit lower, actually. If we multiply that by 4, you're looking at 24 cents compared to 42 the month before. But it's right in line with the 2 months before that as well. Let's see what we have next here. We have Maro, lovely Maro, paying out 30 cents. Maro is a Bitcoin mining Mara is a Bitcoin mining company. And so over the last month here, the share price went up 11%. Heck, yeah, you got to be happy with that, right? For sure. But I mean, since it's come out, down 57%. So it's making up for it a little bit. But you did get a good distribution, a really good distribution from Maro. Since it's come out, every distribution has been real good here. So you can see them all sitting here on the left-hand side. And then there's this week's payment, 30 cents. So, you multiply that by 4, you're looking at $1.20. which kind of is in line with what they normally do over the last 4 months here. Maro. We got one more. MRNY paying out 2 whole cents. Ho, ho, ho. Maro. Let's go this way. Or Maro, not Maro. MRNY. Look at the share price on this, you guys. It's getting very, very close to doing something. Is MRNA going to take off? Who knows? But over the last month, up 3%. We won't spend much time on this one. $93 million in this fund. That's crazy. And then there's the distribution. So if you multiply that by 4, that's 8 cents a month paying out. But I mean, it's a $1.72 share price. So I don't know. For me, it's definitely a no. Not worth the gamble. I'm trying to turn down the gamble, turn up the buying the right opportunities over here. So yeah, it's a no for me. So that's the next grouping here. Let's go into the next one. Here we go. And I can't believe it. If you're still here, thank you so much for being here. Let's check out the rest of them coming up. All right, next one. This is the last group. Thank goodness. Holy smokes. What a gigantic list of ETFs YieldMax has created. They're going to keep creating more, if they're volatile, if they're going to pay distribution. So next one is MSFO. This is a Microsoft play paying out 27 cents this week. And then, so here it is right here. Share price over the last month down just 23 cents or 1.3%. Since it's come out, down 13.92%, just under $3 it's down since it's come out, and it's been out for over 2 years now. So it continues to pay a steady distribution, very kind of steady underlying stock here. $152 million in this fund, and then there's all of the distributions there. 27 cents for this week. Next week, remember, this should be less, right? If we look at all of the months before, it should be cut in a quarter then. And then let's go take a look at, actually, that's it, right? So that's MSFO. Next one is Misty, MSTY, 60 cents. This is Group D, which means that it is paying out for approximately 2 weeks worth of data in there. So that's why it's a little bit higher. Usually it's hanging around the dollar mark. So this is 2.5, 3 weeks worth of data in there. I don't expect it to be 60 cents going forward. I expect it to be probably around that 20 to 25 cent range. Misty's share price is really dipping right now. Bitcoin also going down. It doesn't seem to matter. MSTR also dipping. If it gets under that $300 mark for me, that's an interesting thought to buy. I probably won't, but it's definitely interesting for sure to look at. Take a look at the share price of Misty. Go look at Mr. too at the same time. So, I got an itch. Oh my goodness, how long have we been here, everybody? I got an itch to buy something too. Down 17%. Go look at the underlying. Is it also down? That's why this one is down so much in that period of time. Misty is the biggest fund still over at YieldMax, but it is dramatically dropping. This thing was over $4.4 billion at one point. Now it's sitting at $3.69 billion. There's all of the distributions. You can see it is, as the share price comes down, so do the distributions. That's something to expect. But 61 cents here. I am very interested to see how this does. It somewhat correlates to Bitcoin. Mr. is a Bitcoin buying company. They're a technology company. And, they've been kind of diluting a lot. And then this is what's happening. So I'm interested to see, I'm invested in Misty. And, I'm still going to collect that income every single month. But my average price is right around $24, so we're down 50% share price. But I am getting distribution that entire time. So I'm still positive, but just slightly. And what has to happen is Mr. needs to go on a run. Bitcoin needs to go on a run. Then Misty can follow along. Fingers crossed that can happen, but who knows. Next up, we have NFLY, your Netflix play. And here it is right here, $16.35 over the last month, down 1.98%. Netflix, right? Elon says, cancel your Netflix. Elon says a lot of things, though. $155 million in this fund right here. There's the distribution, pretty standard compared to all of the last 5 months there too, paying out 39 cents this time. So I'm gathering that's probably a Group C thing as well. Again, I don't know that off the top of my head, but there you go. We're going to continue on. Next, we have the one that I am quite interested in, NVDY, paying out 10 cents. This just paid last week, right? So that's why it's so low, everybody. It's got 1 week of data in there. NVIDIA, let's go back here. $15.39 over the last month, down 5% share price. And then let's take a look at it over here. I think it's like the third or fourth biggest fund now over at YieldMax, $1.74 billion. And then there's its distribution. So you can see the distributions have been pretty low, under $1 for the last 3 months here. And under $1, 6 out of the last 7 months there as well. So 11 cents. I mean, we saw 10 cents on the sheet there. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be low because they just paid last week. So if we pretended it was 80 cents like it was a month ago, then you can knock that by 4, divide by 4. You're looking at 20 cents per share every single week. I'll take that, especially if the share price is hanging around this $15 mark. Let's hope it can be stable and pay us a distribution at the same time. Next, we have Oarch paying 21 cents. So let's go find Oarch on the sheet here. That's pretty big for for a stock price, an ETF price of $9. Over the last month here, doing pretty well, 2.9. Well, actually, there's a big jump, 3.58% on Oarch. Oarch itself here, how much money is in this fund? $90 million in this fund. So, you know, it's pretty big. It's fairly big fund, $90 million. And there's the distribution, 21 cents. I'm interested to see what happens next week now that all of these are capped out. Like the end of their monthly cycles are over. I'm curious what's going to happen next week. But it should be interesting. PLTY, 74 cents. PLTY is one of the more favored ETFs over at YieldMax here in the last month, down 1.83%. Nothing too dramatic there. PLTY, huge fund, right? $656 million in this fund. And there's the distributions, 74 cents. So yeah, there you go, 74 cents. How do you guys feel about that one? Continuing on, PayPal, 28 cents. Palantir play here, or Palantir, that's the last one. PayPal here. I'm actually dealing with PayPal myself right now. Did you guys know if you get paid by PayPal and not frequently, they hold your money for 28 days and then they pay you? Oh, that's annoying, right? That's annoying. But there's PayPal, YieldMax version of PayPal. Last month here, down 3%. It's a $10.60 ETF right now. And $53 million in the fund. And there are its payments over the last 6 months have been very similar in the last 6 months. Next, we have RBLY $5. This is going to be a Roblox play. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know much about it, but you know, this fund just came out. It just came out in July. There you go. I guess I haven't focused too much on this one, but since it's come out up 6%, in the last month, down 3.6%. Take a look at all of its distributions so far, and its AUM, $35 million. There's its 3 payments here so far. So $2.07, $3.01, and $1.05 so far. Are you invested in this one? I'm not. Clearly, I didn't know much about it, right? RDYY, this is your Reddit play. How often do you guys use Reddit? I use Reddit a couple of times a week, I would say. And so share price here down 22% or $12.55. That's insane. Super volatile underlying stock here. This thing also just came out September 9th. So it's really dipped since day one. Interesting to note, $6 million in this fund and $1.43. You know what's funny about Reddit is they say, why don't you advertise on Reddit? They actually reached out to me as a new realtor saying you should advertise on Reddit. And I've never really thought about doing that before. But they're pushing for business. So that's his second payment, by the way. All right, we got a few left. SMCY is coming up next here. SMCY is paying out 80 cents. And share price here over the last month doing really, really well on SMCY. This is a chip company, SMCI, super microcomputer, and up 6.56% in the last month here. So doing very well, just like all of the different chip companies seem to be doing well right now. Predominantly because one person isn't dictating rules right now for this month, but that could change next month. SMCY here, 340 million. So it's a big fund over at YieldMax. And then there's the payments, 81 cents this month, but now we're breaking it down to weeklies. And you can see it's been pretty consistent in payments here, but consistently going down in payment over that time. Interesting enough. Let's go look at the share price again. I mean, that was a huge wall. That was like an anomaly back then in July. But yeah, there you go. SMCY. Next one, SNOY. Doing all right. SNOY, 38 cents. Let's take a look at it. Here's the share price over the last month, up 1.79%. SNOY itself, $86 million. And there's the distribution, 39 cents. And, last month was a little bit low too. So, I mean, many months it was low here. So maybe not as volatile as a lot of the other options out there. Speaking of volatility, here's TSLY paying out 19 cents. Bum, 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 bum. Where are you? There you are. How's TSLY's share price, everybody? Okay, I mean, the last month down 3% here, or 30 cents. In the last year, down 26%. And TSLY itself here, $1.29 billion still in this fund. And there's the distribution, breaking it down. The TSLY was in Group A, which paid out 2 weeks ago. So that's why that's a little bit lower than usual. They got 2 weeks worth of income sitting in there. But 19 cents compared to 80 the month before. Good stuff. TSMY. Let's take a look. Last month, up 6.69%. Nice. Good for TSMY. Here's the YieldMax version. $70 million in this fund. There's the 23 cents. You know what? If this was 4 weeks worth, that almost equals last month's distribution. Cool. 23 cents. Winter, $1.46. Good little hedge here for MSTR. But I mean, there we are. There's your share price. Down 7% this month, which is strange. It's strange, isn't it? Considering Mister's also down, or Misty's also down in the same period of time. That's a little strange. So winter here, $46 million in. There's the $1.47 for payments. I think a lot of people are hedging the Misty play with the winter. Not me, but a lot of people. Next is XOMO, paying out 9 cents in distribution this week. It's hovering around that $10 range, getting closer. Down 2.58% this month. How much money is in this fund? $52 million. There's a lot of money in the fund. That's a lot. And then there's the 9 cents sitting right there. And you can see it's hovering around the 20 to 25 cent average here over the last, year, 2 years. It's hanging around 25 cents. So if we divide that by 4, I don't know, what's that, like 6 cents every week? Is that going to be worth it for you? $11, 6 cents. It's a little less than Ulti, right? But could be good for diversification. Can they stop the share price from going down by doing this move? These are things we got to think about. Next, XYZY, 21 cents. Let's take a look at the share price. Under 10 bucks. Down 3%. Yeah, I mean, it's down 52% since October of 2 years ago. But you've been getting a distribution that entire time. So it's been out for 2 years. $68 million in the fund. And there's 22 cents sitting right there. So, yeah, I mean, sure, it pays you a distribution every single week now, which is going to be nice. That's for sure. We have 2 left, everybody. The countdown is on. Excuse me over here. I'll be okay. I can't believe that I've done this. I don't know if I'm going to do this next week, but if you enjoyed the content, I hope you let me know down below what we should do going forward. Ybit here paying out 24 cents. Ybit, another one under $10 over at YieldMax, down 6.93% this month. Ybit, $120 million fund. Interesting. That's cool. And there's the 24 cents right there. 31 the month before, 28.54. So it's pretty much in line with that. And we got one more, YQQQ. YQQQ. So this is trading against the QQQs, right? And over the last month, the QQQs did fairly well. So this is down almost 2% in share price, and YQQQ here has $13 million. Not a lot of money in this fund, paying out 13 cents and then 21 cents the month before. So those are your funds. Here's the announcement sitting right here. I found it on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that'd be great. I finally have more followers than who I follow. I try and follow everybody out there, but sometimes I miss them. But those are the announcements so far. This video has been extremely long. Thank you if you're still here right now, you are a true fan of the channel. I appreciate you and all the time you give me. I hope that I'm able to provide you good information. And if I do, you hit that like, the subscribe. And if you want to become a member to support myself, the family even more, I would love to have you. My name is Mike. The channel's name is Health and Wealth. Have a great night. Bye for now.